welcome back to the channel. We are doing some of the Nissan GTR build today. I thought I'd do a quick live just to give you guys an opportunity just to see a bit of this build up close, and then also kind of answer any questions you guys have got in the chat or anything like that. So if you do have any questions, just pop them in the chat. I've got the laptop in front of me so I can have a little look and see what's going on in the chat. So yeah, let me know if you've got any questions. But besides that, we can get into the build. So today we're going to be doing stage 10 of the Nissan GTR build. So I did actually buy the fast track version of this, so I do have a lot of these in stock, but it's just a case of catching up, to be honest. So yeah, let me know if you do have any questions about any of the other builds that I've got going on. Then do pop those in the chat as well. I'll be happy to answer those, Fanhome or other. I do have a few Poker builds going on as well at the moment. So yeah, cool. So without further ado, we'll start to build the turbo system. So we're going to attach 10B into 10A, and then we can pop the airflow meter sensor onto the top of this box here. These are all push fit parts, they're quite easy. Then what we want to do is retrieve this really nice looking engine block that we've already started to assemble in stages 1 to 8, and we're going to pop on the manifolds onto the side of the engine here. So if we retrieve these manifolds, I think they're generic to a point, and we can start to pop these onto the side of the engine using the KM screws that we've got here. So if I grab some of those, these are really quite small screws, these ones. I'm just going to double check the orientation that these go on the engine. So you can see they've got two studs on the bottom, and you've got two screw holes on the bottom there as well. So they're going to go this way. So we can just pop those in. So that's one. I was actually looking in the week for a neon lighting kit for this, like an underbody lighting kit. So if you guys actually know of one, then please drop a little link in the comments or something, and I can get a nice kit for it as well. That'd be awesome. Cool, and then we'll pop the other one on the other side. Perfect, and there we have it. We have got our manifold covers on there. Right, then what we want to start doing for 10.4 is to start building the compressors. So for that, we're going to take 10J, which are these large compressor housings. If we flip those over, you'll see that we've got a directional aspect to them. And then we're going to take these 10Ks, which are, in fact, these are the compressor housings. So we're going to, I think, go this way in terms of the embossing of them. And we're just going to slot them over like so. There we have it. Then what we want to do is take the other parts of these housings and we want to attach them over the top. So let's just take a note of the directional aspect on that. So I think it's going to go that way on this first one. And the other one I think is just going to be identical, to be honest. So let's just double check the other one. Again, it's directional and it's going to go like that. Yep. So I've got two that look identical, which is as expected. And then we're going to secure them using CP screws. So if I pop these screws back, I'm just going to secure them in. So that's one secured. I'll just do the other one quickly. And there we have it. So we've got our two compressor housings assembled. Then what we want to do is take 10G, which is this piece here. And we're going to attach that into this housing, I believe. So if we take one of our compressor housings, this part is going to go, just checking the orientation here. It must go that way, I believe. Yeah, it must go that way. Let's just double check that against the picture. Yep, that looks good. And then in terms of attaching that, it's going to be KP screws for that one. So just get the orientation back where it was. I know many of you guys have actually built this kit already, probably quite a while ago, but it is one that I wanted to add to my collection. So I'm hoping by the time I get around to doing all the bodywork, the panels are going to align properly. I see on Will's Workshop channel, they've got he's got a good fix for the bumper alignment, so I will definitely be doing that just to get good closure on the bonnet. But if you've got any other tips, then again, just drop them in the comments. Should be great. All right, that's 2 screws. We're just going to do the final one. Perfect. So now we've got our exhaust outlet attached to that turbine, and we're good to move forward. So what we want to do is, let me just pop some of these screws away. We are going to attach that onto the engine. So in terms of how that affixes to the engine, we can see that on this we've got 2 little holes on the bottom, and we are going to affix it on. Let's just double check where it's going to go. So it's going to go quite high up here on the manifold of the engine. And if we look at the orientation of it, just going to try and match the parts up in terms of orientation. Not really that obvious what way it goes, to be honest, guys. So it wants to go, I think, like this. So like that, I believe. And in terms of fixing that, we will use a AP screw. Just grab one of those. Pop that through the top of the manifold to secure it. Just keep that little stud in there as well, though, just to keep the alignment. It's obviously intended to be aligned at that exact angle. And then we're going to do 10.8. So 10.8, we're going to attach the turbo outlet, which is 10L onto 10H. So that is this onto this piece here. So again, this piece is directional, I believe. No, it's actually this piece. So this piece is actually directional, and we're going to attach this plate onto it in the following orientation. Let me just double check that. So you can see that it's embossed on this side. So it should in theory go that way, but I just wanted to double check that. Yeah, it does look correct. And then to secure that, again, it's a KP screw. Just grab one of those. And we can pop that through. Super small, to be honest, guys. Very fiddly, this part. Cool, so it looks to me as if it goes that way, but we will find out shortly. And then what we want to do is attach this onto the turbo housing, I believe, for the next part. So if we position the turbine in this orientation, we should be able to attach this on like so, which looks quite good to me. And then we again attach that using KP screws. So if I grab 3 of those, We can just get that fixed on there quite easily. I'm just going to get the first one in. There we go. So we've got 3 of these bolts to put in. If you've just joined the stream, we are building the turbos for the GTR from Fanhome. And we are on stage 10. Any comments, drop them in the chat, or any questions about any of the builds currently on the channel. Drop them in the chat. Right, so that is 10.9 completed. And then similar to the last section, we just want to attach this onto the engine now. Now, in terms of orientation, we want to go the same way as the other one. So let's fit that in there. And that's looking pretty good to me. To affix that, we're going to use an AP screw from the top side. So we'll come around the top and screw that in. And again, I'm just going to keep the pressure on the bottom so that the other pin stays in and we keep the alignment that we want on that one. So that is the turbo housings onto the engine, which is looking pretty good. Now we want to start working with the exhaust manifold covers, and these are just going to place on top, I think, just with the pins. So let's just check the orientation. I think they're kind of ubiquitous, really, to be honest. They just literally push fit into the top of these sections here. So I'm just going to get them aligned, and then they just push fit in. Same on the other side. And that's it on that one. Perfect. Moving on from that, we want to start working with the turbo drive valves. And we're going to push these into the compressor housing. So if we just check the alignment of these parts, it's a bit unclear to see where they actually go. So I think this pin will go into here, but I don't see where the other pin goes. I think the other pin just literally goes here, to be honest, in this little groove. So we will fit this one. So we're going to push fit it into that side, like so, and then that's just going to go in there like that. And then we've got to do the same on the other turbo. So again, we're just going to pop the pin in, like so. This one feels a bit looser though, I would say, which is interesting. It should not be loose. Oh, there we go, I've got it now. There we go. So they should look like that. Looks really quite nice. Then we're going to take the air inlet duct, which is 10D, and we are going to, I believe, just push fit that on. Just going to check actually. I think we're just going to push it in to this turbo here, and that's obviously movable, which is fine for now. And then we'll take this pipe that we started with, which is the air inlet duct, and we are going to push this, I think, into the other turbo. Just checking what end we're going to push in. I think we're going to pop it in like this. Like so. And that is it for stage number 10. So we've actually done quite a lot for stage 10, which is looking good. And then we can move on to stage 11. So I will just pop these screws to one side and grab the parts for stage 11, and we will continue. Right, guys, so stage 11 is continuation of the engine, basically. This is where we start generally all of the builds, and we are going to start with the valves and the pivots for the valves. Many engine parts in this stage. So let's just get a rough idea of what parts we've got. I like to generally just lay them all out so I know exactly what I've got. And as I said, there are a lot of parts in this stage and some absolutely tiny screws. Oh, these are not screws, these are plastic parts. Just laying all these parts out, guys, so I know exactly what I've got and what I don't have. Just makes it a little bit easier as we go through the build. So that one, this is 11N. Then we've got 11M. Got all of these, which are, I think, spark plugs or maybe valves. Spark plugs rather. And then we even get a pair of tweezers for this stage. Obviously, I've got a lot of pair of tweezers, but they're always useful and helpful. And then I'm just seeing if there's a difference in these two parts. There is not, so we can keep those together. Perfect. So what we now want to do is take 11A, which is this large section over here, and we are going to affix this onto the engine. So we're around the other side of the engine now, and we're just going to check the orientation to which this goes onto the engine. So this is going to go over the 4 pivots on the, just check, on the intake manifold. Just going to have a quick look at the manual for that. It's not immediately clear to me how that actually affixes to the engine, to be honest, guys. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just looking to see where they actually, where it affixes. Don't know if it's supposed to affix like that. Yeah, it looks like it's actually supposed to push fit on like so. But I'm not 100% that's right, to be honest. Yeah, it does look to be correct. So I think it actually push fits on like so. Well, that doesn't really seem to me to want to go in that way. So let's flip it around, put the hooks facing upwards, which I think they actually should be. Yeah, so it wants to go like that. There we go. So it goes on like that, but to be honest, it could almost do with a bit of glue. So I'll probably continue, and then I might just chuck a little bit of instant glue on it. Just to check that it actually stays in place. I can do that now, to be honest. So this is just Tamiya instant glue, guys. Okay, so any hobby shop. There we go, that should just keep it in place. And then we can start to look at all of these parts now. So we've got 11O. So let's just get these in order. We've got the red and then we've got the blue. So for this stage, we want the blue connectors, which is 11P, and we want to cut all of these off and pop them into this red injector ramp. So let me just grab some clippers and we can start doing that. Just having a quick look at this just to see exactly where to cut them. Because obviously what you don't want to do is cut them too short. I'm going to cut them actually the other way, like this. Quite a few to do on here. Let me know in the comments, guys, what build you are enjoying the most, what ones you are doing, what ones you are considering doing. I know that Fanhome now have released a Michael Schumacher F2000 Ferrari, which looks very interesting. I believe that's going to have lights and sound, well, sorry, sounds as well. So that should be interesting. So let me know if any of you guys are doing that build in the comments. Right, so now what we want to do is push fit these parts, the black end, into this injector ramp. So, and in terms of the holes, we want these low holes, I believe. Yeah, so with these two pins facing upwards, we want these black ones, oh, sorry, these blue ones in the lower holes, like so. They're going in quite easily, which is nice. And then we're actually going to pop the red ones in the upper holes, I believe. And in terms of orientation, these are facing downwards, just as I said they were going in easy. There we go, so that's 4, 5, and let's just do the sixth one. Sixth one's right on the end there. Perfect. Then what we want to do is start cutting off these red ones and pop them in the top. So again, you've got 6 on here, and again, I'm going to cut them, but just be really careful where you cut them. Don't cut them too short. You just need to see where the wide part of the plastic ends and the actual part begins. Perfect. So what we want to do then, guys, is we are going to flip this around. I think we're going to fit these facing the opposite direction. So I think we're going to fit them like that. So you've got the red facing that way and the blue facing that way. That's what it looks like to me in the picture. So we'll do that. We can always move them. We can just pull them out if we need to. It's not a problem. There we go. Really looking forward to finishing this kit actually, guys, because it looks amazing. I know a lot of people have already finished it and it looks phenomenal, especially with all the lights in the display case. Looks awesome. And the quality of these Fanhome kits is really, really good, to be honest, in my opinion. I've had quite a few people messaging me actually asking about the quality of the kits and things like that. And yeah, just ping me if you've got any questions. The quality is really, really good, and the level of detail is really good as well. So yeah, ping me any questions you guys have. Right, then what we want to do is start working with 11R. Now 11R are these tiny little connectors in the bag. So this is going to be an awesome task of popping these little connectors into, I believe, these holes here. So you can confirm that by turning the page and just checking the orientation. It looks like they face inwards to me. So let's just confirm that. Yep, they face inwards towards the engine. So for that, I'm guessing that is what the tweezers are for, because these are tiny. But I typically find it a bit easier to do some of these things by hand. So I'll try. No, way too small. So we can try and do it with tweezers, but to be honest, sometimes this can be super difficult, even doing it with tweezers. But on this occasion, it's actually helpful. The only thing you do have to do is line them up on the tweezers before you go near the engine. Makes your life much easier. So hopefully you can see that on the camera. I'm putting them at that sort of angle. This one's a bit more tricky because I've got limited access. Oh. This one's really quite tricky now. There we go. Well, I actually really enjoy working on these engines. It's definitely the trickiest part, I would say, but it's also the most rewarding part because it's so intricate. It's quite similar actually to the pocket builds. If any of you guys have done a pocket build, you'll know they're very intricate and very detailed, and sometimes you need to come up with new sort of techniques for getting some of these parts in. And I'm actually finding the Fanhome builds are getting more technical as well now, which is good. So you get a better product at the end of it, don't you? Because you've got more detail. So there we go. So we've got all of those in. 6 in there. Hopefully you can see that up close. It's looking really nice. So we can move on to 11.5. So now we're going to insert the injector ramp into the manifold. And again, I'm just looking to see, right, so these two connecting holes here are going to go in to these two holes here. I'm just checking to see, yeah, so we've got red down, blue up. So it's going to go this way, like so. Just trying to push it in without snapping anything. So it looks like that. Looks really quite nice. And then if we, just checking the orientation of the engine now, if we flip the engine around, we're going to take 11B, which is our oil plug. I'm just double checking what part that is. It's this one. And we're going to pop that over here, like so. And we're going to take 11G, which is our rocker cover ornament, which is this. And we're going to pop that onto this section here, but obviously in that orientation. Perfect. Right, so moving forward now, we are going to fit the crankcase ventilation connector, which is 11E, which are these sections here, into the hole on the right side of the engine top cover. So if we spin the engine around, we are going to fit it into here, I believe. So in terms of what part goes in, I believe it's the curved part. We'll pop that in. We can always swap this, as I say. And then on the other side, we're going to fit the other one, which is 11D, into the other side as well. Like so. So it should look like that. Like so. Right, so now moving forward, we're going to stay on this side of the engine and we're going to fit the curved end of the ventilation cover over the left pivot of the connector. So let's have a quick look where that's going to go. I think it's going to go up here and in there, but let's just double check that. Again, the image is so small you can't really see where it goes, if I'm honest, guys. Okay, so fit the curved end of the crankcase ventilation intake connection 11F over the left pivot of 11D. Air inlet duct 10A. Okay, right, so it's actually going to go from there into here, I believe. So I think let's get that in because that's movable, and then that in there if it wants to go, which it doesn't. There we go, so it should go like that. Right, and then we are going to take this pipe here, 11C, and we're going to fit that from here to here, I believe, which also indicates that we've got this the wrong way round. So we need to probably rotate that and have one facing that way and one facing outwards. So for that, I probably just need to pull that out with a pair of pliers. Then we can pop it back in the correct orientation. So let's just check the orientation. So we want that to go in here. And that's going to go that way. So it needs to be in this orientation then. Like so. And we'll just push fit that in like so. Right, so that is, I think, some of the work on the block done. If we then move forward, we are going to start looking at the compressor housing again, 11M. So we're going to take, I think, this piece here, this connecting rod 11K, which is going to go through the top, like so. And then we need the center section, which is this piece here. And we are going to go the opposite way with this. So that's going to go into there like so. And if we spin that around, it has got a nodule on it though, which is interesting. So I'm not sure that is the right way. So this can go back into there like so. This has got a nodule on it. Okay, the nodule goes there. So it was the right way. I just needed to put the nodule on the inside. And then on the other side, we're going to push this connecting piece onto there. And as we do that, we need to just obviously make sure that this is inside, like so. So it should look something like that. And that's all just push fit. Then what we want to do is mount that onto the engine. So if we retrieve our engine, that is going to push fit into these two holes here. And in terms of orientation, I think it's going to go this way, facing upwards. So we'll get into there. I don't know if we can get any leverage. Yep, we can. That's fine. And it goes that way. So we've already started to work on the front of the engine there then. Then what we're going to do is take 11H, which is our steering pump. And we're going to push that into the upper holes on the bracket that we just fitted in this orientation. So that's just going to push fit onto here, like so. And then we're on our final pieces now for stage 11. So we're going to align the shorter tab of the tension pulley with the hole on the lower part of the engine block. So let's have a little look where this is going to go. I think it's going to go up there and in, but I can't get to that hole unless you obviously rotate that upwards. So it looks like this goes that way to me. And then I'm just seeing if that can go in there or not. No, I don't think that's right. Okay, so it goes into here and it says affix it with 1 BM screw. And then I think that will just go into there. I'll fix this later, don't worry. Right, so we're going to put 1 BM screw into here to keep this affixed. To the engine block. And then you've obviously got a hole on this, so we can just flick that over and tuck it into that part like so. And then it sits on there like that. And then we'll just pop this back in. So it popped out. Perfect. So moving on, we are going to place the camshaft sensor on the front of the engine. And in terms of orientation, you can see the 2 holes there. That's going to go in here like so. And again, that's just a push fit part onto the engine. And there we have it. So that is everything for stage 11. The engine is looking really, really nice now. And I think for this live, we'll probably leave it there, guys. I'll be looking to do a lot more lives coming up. So let me know what you think of it in the comments. I just wanted to kind of get some progress on the GTR because I know it's been sitting there for a long time now. But if you've not seen any of my other streams or anything like that, I've got the Supra going on. I've got the RB19, the Pecco GP23 Ducati. I've got the Poca 1299 Ducati Final Edition, and then I've also got a few Poca builds, other Poca builds like another Pagani, and also an IXO Subaru WRC. So stay tuned for more. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks very much.